Bobby Mills, the 1,000-yard guy for the Independent.com. This is our first installment of End Zone Online, and we're taking the show on the road. Back there, producer, videographer, Zach Mayhew. I'm thrilled to death to have Coach Jeff Tomlin from Grand Island Senior High with us today. Welcome,
Thank you, Bobby.
Coach. How are
Thank
you?
you, sir. Good, doing great.
First thing I got to ask you about is how the Islanders have looked in practice thus far preseason, and there haven't been probably enough practices, have there?
Well, you always want to fight for more.
Yeah.
You want to fight for more practices, but so far our off season was good, and that's a key to any program. How good your off season, and we're blessed to have Coach John Swanson and a great strength program, and we don't have a lot of kids, but our kids do work really, really hard. Kids that we do have, and so I think we had a good off season, and so that led into a pretty solid preseason.
Sure.
It was pretty seamless going in, and like I said before, we're always begging as coaches for more days and more reps, and but overall pretty smooth.
Now, unless I'm wrong, they said you can't do two two-a-days in a row. Is that correct? Even though
correct.
You do not have pads?
Right. Yeah. The maximum you can go 2 practices a day, beginning I think on day 6 of the season.
But even with you're going to have pads anyway.
Right.
So,
and then you got to go 1 a day, spaced in between that.
Of course, school starts anyway, so it's not like the old days where you can just keep going and going and going before school starts. So how's the injury situation? Everybody healthy, getting through?
We've had a good preseason
Good.
as far as injuries. We got Aiden Redwine dinged up in the early part of the summer, and I think it's pretty common knowledge. He got a knee, and he's bracing it up, and he's trying to go.
Well, he's a good one, boy. I tell you what,
a fantastic kid. He's an even better kid than he is a player.
That's
he's
a
pretty
great
darn good
thing.
player. So
Yep.
he's going to battle and see what he can do.
Would you consider him the leader of your defense?
He's one of our team leaders on both sides of the ball. He's a really, really versatile, kid. He can play 3 or 4 positions on defense.
In class, any class is just unbelievable.
Right.
We talked about it beforehand. For years, you ran that wing T out of the Lions, and very successful here. And you changed to the spread when Riker 5 came on board. Can you tell me why you did that? I think the people would like to. Everybody wants football 101 information that doesn't know a lot about it. So.
Yeah, Bobby, we went back and kind of reevaluated after about that 2009, 2010 era, and we were still winning some ball games and having some success with the wing T, but we felt like we had smaller, more mobile linemen coming up, very little size, but we did have some receivers.
Yeah.
We had a couple playmakers. Adam Werner was another one coming up through the ranks for us at quarterback, and he tore his ACL.
Oh boy.
His senior year. Of course, we had Riker 5 coming up as well, and so I told Russ Harvey he's the best offensive coordinator a guy could have.
Well, he really is. It was a good quarterback.
He's
himself.
a great quarterback and a great offensive mind and one heck of a football coach. That I was kind of handcuffing him a little bit. He was great in the wing T as an OC, but I think he's more creative than I am. And I was kind of handcuffing him, so I told Harv, get us in what you want, what you feel comfortable being in based on our personnel that we have. And so we got into, kind of morphed into the spread, and the first couple of years we ran wing T concepts with the spread.
I saw that, yes.
And we still kind of mix in a couple just for old time's sake.
Even mixed me up watching the offense.
But and we still do that a little bit, but mostly it's spread concepts.
I see. Well, as you very well, Zach knows as well as I do that what kind of teams you have, and it looked like the thing worked from the beginning, really. So, is it harder to break in kids at the beginning of the season in this spread offense? You're having a lot of new kids back there, and of course you'll miss Pierce Allman.
Absolutely.
But the good thing is you have 8 starters returning on defense. Is that correct? Now, is it a good thing, like it is in most cases, so the offense can come along, or would it have been harder with that wing T?
Well, I think it's good that we have some experience coming back on defense. Really, I think it's 6 of one, half a dozen the other. I think it's kind of ingrained in our system now. We've got our middle school coaches buying in.
There you go.
And so they come up through and through freshman ball, having been exposed to it a little bit, and so it's fairly seamless, but it's still a breaking in period.
Oh yes.
Because there's much more timing and many more reads involved for the quarterback.
You know, you told me something once, and of course we had many conversations when I worked over here, but the difference in speed, your starting quarterback probably doesn't have a lot of varsity experience, I'm sure.
Right.
But he started for JVs.
Yes, he
is that
did.
the second
Yes, he
group?
did.
And you always told me what the difference in speed, the critical difference between JVs and varsity is. So you think he'll have a tough time, that he's going to need that time that the defense might be able to give him to break in?
Well, you know, I think there'll be a break-in period for anybody.
Yeah.
But Trey's ready. He's been in that system. You know, that's the only system he's known since he's been in high school.
Right.
He's really smart.
He is a smart kid.
And he can really throw the ball. The speed, you know, it's going to be a little bit of a thing that he's going to have to adapt to.
Yep.
But I expect within a quarter to a half of football, he'll be adjusted.
Yeah. So the old cliche, well, we had a great junior varsity team, we had a great reserve team, does mean something, doesn't it?
It
Because
does.
they've had your system.
Right, they've run the system, and success kind of breeds success a little bit. But I'm still, I guess, in my own old-fashioned way, I guess, I'm still developmental at those levels.
That's right.
I want to
Sure.
develop kids, and it'd be nice to go undefeated, but not at the expense of developing kids.
No, it isn't.
And getting kids playing time and getting them experience, because if they can blossom before your eyes all of a sudden and become a good varsity player for you, but if they've never played the sub-varsity, if they're never given a chance to develop, then it's hard for them to help you later.
That's what I can imagine, if never being a football coach, that would be rewarding.
Oh,
to,
it
to
is.
no end. Another thing I was going to ask you from the conversations we've had, you didn't play Lincoln Southeast late in the season last year, but I think you played them on a Thursday, maybe the third
We
game
did.
of Seacrest. But Ryan Gattulo got thrown into a situation late in the season, probably the last 4 games, where he had to start a freshman, Jack Strong, and I can't even comprehend that. Is it safe to say that you have never started a freshman here at Senior High or at Alliance in Class B?
Right, I've never
Good
started
grief.
a freshman. That would be, I take my hat off to Coach for being able to adapt and go with the flow.
The kid's 6'2" and 180, but he still can't even drive a car yet legally.
Right, absolutely. That would be a tough position to be put in. We've had actually very few sophomores.
That's
play.
what is this?
Jake Godowski.
Can I put 10 fingers up and say you haven't started that many
We
sophomores?
haven't started that many sophomores. You can put this many fingers up.
I thought so.
Yeah, because Jake Godowski was one, Braden Taylor.
And those
another.
are those are tremendous.
Chase Reese
names.
and you can count Pierce, but that was due to injury.
Right.
We got 2 quarterbacks go down that were ahead of him.
It's sad.
And Aiden Redwine. So I think 5 is the most we've ever done.
That's amazing.
Since I've been here.
That's Class A football.
Right.
And to start a quarterback in a skill position like that is just amazing. So yeah, that's something in Class A I don't think people realize. You see it in 8-man football, even C1 is rare, but that's just something that doesn't happen.
It just doesn't happen very often. You need that physical maturation.
Yeah, I know.
And then, hopefully you have enough numbers where you've got some quarterbacks stacked up and they go through a progression for you.
Right.
If you're lucky enough to have that.
If you're lucky.
Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
What do you think of the 18 districts in your scheduling? Could it be any other way, or is it pretty satisfactory?
I think it's pretty fair.
You can't have any. You don't have any
Right.
say in it.
We don't have any say, and I think the old way we did it with the kind of the regional districts, I know that was that was criticized by some, maybe in different parts of the state for saying, well, that's too weak a district if you make an outstate district. I kind of disagreed. But I think any way you slice it with this serpentine system we use now, we have a plenty tough schedule, and all the districts have their really strong teams. I still think you're going to have probably, a couple real strong ones, couple kind of in the middle.
Well, you are, yeah.
And 1 or 2 that just by the luck of the draw or way things cycle through aren't going to be quite as tough. So I think there's not a perfect way to do it, and I'm fine with the way we do it now because I think it's pretty equitable.
I think so.
And I like playing a wide variety of teams every 2 years. Getting other opportunities to play some other metro teams is really good.
Yeah, back when I was a young guy, the schedule never changed.
Never
Kenny
changed.
Fisher was there, and I'm still hearing from the eastern part of the state that, well, look at the last half of Grand Island's schedule. Come on. Well, how about Omaha Burke, and how about Omaha West Side, Millard South? And the Lincoln school splitting up years ago made that look easy.
Right.
And there's some good teams in Lincoln for crying out loud.
Absolutely.
So I think everything's working out well, and I don't know any other way to do it.
And I don't either. And Columbus was a playoff team last year, and they're going to be better this year. But boy, I look at, are we facing Mantle, Maris, and Gehrig here, or Murderers Row from the Yankees? Because anyway you slice it, you start with Kearney, you go Lincoln Southeast, you go Burke, you go West Side, you go Columbus. That's a pretty good 5 in a row.
That's brutal start. And what do you think about opening with Kearney? Would you rather do that than have it a critical last game and hopefully not one of the teams get knocked out? I always wondered about that opening. Is it good for the kids?
I think in some ways it's good because your summer you don't have to really worry about.
There you go, a Millard
it's
North
right
or
in
something.
front of you. It's right in front of you, and that would be very, very motivating as well. But just having a great team starting out week 1 is like, man, we gotta get going, guys.
Well, that's
and
good.
You can use that as motivation in your summer prep.
Well, I'm a running back guy, so can you tell me what's the running back situation look like at senior high?
Well, Aiden's going to do what he can do,
Yep.
and we're gonna expect the best.
And I suppose you've got a good pool of kids to work with.
Yeah, we got a pretty decent pool of kids to work with. Aiden being our main back.
Sure.
Chris Doty was a junior varsity player for us last year. Showed some promise. And Reed Bedner, who's Grant's younger brother. They're pretty solid.
Yep.
At halfback, George Oxford's a real solid back for us. John Kirkland. So we've got 4 or 5 that are in the mix for playing time.
That nobody really knows a lot about.
That's
kind of a nice
besides
thing.
Aiden, they probably don't know a whole lot about him.
That's a good thing to
And
do.
that's okay.
Did you see? I'm going to get off the subject a little bit about your current team. Did you see the piece last night on the kid at UNK, the tall kid, that 6'9" kid that
Nick Wentz.
When he played here, did you ever have any idea that he could be that size and that's the weight that I saw him last night?
Honestly, Bobby, we were contemplating as when he was a sophomore, we need to move Nick to tackle.
Oh,
because
you
he's
were?
going to be.
Oh my goodness!
But we were afraid, honestly, and then Nick would probably chuckle at this now. I'm very close to Nick. He's a tremendous kid.
Yeah.
We were afraid we'd lose him from playing football.
Well, 6'9"
and
his
dream
nothing.
was tight end, and
Yeah.
and he wanted to be a college basketball player, and he's a pretty decent hoops player.
Yes.
So we kept him at tight end his sophomore and junior year, but then we had a situation. We didn't have an alignment.
Yep.
So we approached him in that offseason and say, hey, what do you think about taking one for the team, moving to tackle? Plus, I think you market yourself better.
Yeah.
Because you project as a college football lineman, in my opinion. And he did it for the team. He didn't do it to promote himself. That's the way Nick is.
Yeah.
But he ended up having a really good year at tackle.
Huh.
Had some doors opened up for him, and then he's taken it and run with it.
What did he weigh when he was a senior here? Because
He was probably 6'7" or 6'8", 230. Yeah,
Boy,
he was still pretty skinny.
So you think he had to learn some great skills here because he backed up that kid who obviously had an NFL tryout and sadly enough didn't make it. Maybe he's still pounding on doors, but that's a pretty big move for him, and I think they've got a great coach over there. But once again, as a tribute to you and your staff, that kid learned a lot from coming up through as many have Grand Island Senior High.
Well, I hope so, and I think we've had a lot of good kids, so we're thankful for that. Clint Cunningham's our offensive line coach, and wow, has he done it. He assisted me for a lot of years in O-line, and I've kind of turned that over to Clint, and he does a whale of a job. He did a super job with Nick.
Who's the best defensive lineman you coached back in the day?
The best I've ever coached is Caleb Tyler. The second best I've ever coached is Mike Shadwickle.
I didn't know you
that goes way back. I coached Mike Alliance.
Oh, for
Mike's
goodness
Alliance
sake.
boy, and
just looking at him, you probably figured
our
something.
families are very close, and I got to teach and coach Mike, and I was really honored to do that. And he's the second best D lineman I've ever coached.
You can just look at Shad and think, man, he had. And of course, that's not even wrestling, but wow, that's
he put
amazing.
his wrestling to use, and he was one whale of a football player. He could have been a D2 football player about anywhere, and chose Adams State and ended up being an NCAA All-American and runner-up. So he had a good career in that field, and obviously his record speaks for itself as a coach.
That's a great, and I just want to touch on one more thing. I think that's a great thing, this Hall of Fame that senior high has started, and brings back a lot of memories from a lot of years back. How long did you toy with this idea? I can't remember. I know you talked to me about it years back.
Yeah, Bob, and you've helped me
but that's a
uncover
great thing.
information, you know, and I, back when Dr. Mann was here, man, I greatly admire and respect. You know, I said, Dr. Mann, I'm just kidding, I'm a novice here, you know, I'm the rookie, I'm the new guy in, but as much rich history as Grand Island Senior High has, I really don't see anything football around school.
Isn't that something?
You know, and so we kind of talked together. He said, if you could compile a bunch of information, Coach will work on getting some kind of display. And so that's where the dream kind of started a little bit. And then life happens, and you get buried in coaching. And I'm trying to raise my own kids and get them through. And but a couple alumni approached me. Aaron Sim being one of them, great former Islander quarterback and great player at Wesleyan. And Aaron's a super.
I didn't realize
super guy.
And
and has a coaching background. And Aaron approached me. Matt Verzal was another one. And yeah. Another great Nathan McBass and a definite Hall of Famer when his time comes. And so they bounced some ideas off. They said they really, were speaking for a number of alumni, the silent majority, that they'd like to see something. And so I said, hey, shoot me ideas. Let's see if we can get something going. It took us about 2 years to get bylaws and form a committee and really get serious about it. But then the dream finally is coming to fruition, and we're really excited about it.
The first group is out, so I don't think people realize. I was amazed, and Zach, I want to tell you this, you're just a young guy, but I was amazed when I first met Coach Tomlin, the passion that he had about Grand Island Senior High. He hadn't even lived here for I don't know how long, but that stuff gets lost, Coach, and you know I've seen it get lost at Omaha schools and never found again. And it can so easily get lost when coaches come and go, not by their fault, sometimes by their fault, but not often. It just gets shuffled around and forgotten. That stuff has to be saved because somebody built that reputation here.
Oh, absolutely.
And for you to buy into it right away, it takes more than just getting a job. Your roots were at Alliance, you played there, terrific athlete, but I just can't. You got to be commended for buying into this.
Well, I appreciate that.
Really,
I've had a lot of help.
Yeah.
And the one thing my dad always taught me, leave it better than you found it.
There you go.
Leave it better than you found it. So whether we win a state championship or win a bunch of games, I just want to produce good leaders and good kids.
That's right.
And leave the program in good shape when I decide to, hang it up, whenever that is. I feel great, and I got a passion for this. But this Hall of Fame thing is, I maybe deserved a little bit, but not much. But guys like Greg Ermacher and Brian Gallagher and Dan Thayer and Casey Henke and Orv Qualsett and you helping me all those years. And a lot of people have contributed to this whole concept of the Hall of Fame. It's going to be pretty neat.
Somebody's had to start the fire. So, hey, it's been a thrill talking to you. It's been with Jeff Tomlin, Grand Island Senior High head coach and soon-to-be legendary coach, I think. Zach Mayhew back there, the producer, engineer, and a whole bunch of other things. Thanks for joining us again, Coach Tomlin, and we'll see you next time on End Zone Online.